All right. This is an experiment, episode 2. Today is July 27th, 2021. Wow. July 27th, 2021, 2021, and it is 10:49 p.m. I as I went through the day today, I started thinking about this. This actually became something that I was looking forward to at the end of the day, is being able to, come and do this. And one of the things that I started asking myself is, how long am I going to go through this while kind of like holding back a little bit? How many days do I have to see, like, where nobody is seeing this, right? How much of a track record do I have to see that nobody knows that this actually exists before I actually really start letting stuff out? It could be 2 months, could be 2 weeks, could be 2 days. I don't know. We'll see. But that's one of the things that I was thinking about. And I start thinking, what am I going to talk about in tonight's episode, if you will, of This is an Experiment. One of the things that's weighing on me, heavily right now is, I mean, 2 days. Uh, the void in my life that this practice is filling, by being able to talk about what's going on in my life. Because there's one of the things that I started, that I was thinking, whenever I get to a point that I start questioning the point of why, what's the point of me even doing what I'm doing, right? Does it even matter? What's the point? One of the things that I always come back to is that, if I don't have anyone to share it with, then what's the point? If it's all just for my own, you know, experience, and I don't have anybody to tell about it, and there's nobody to share the experience of my life with, then what's the point? It's like, where's the joy in life if you have to do it all alone? What's the point of wins if you can't share it with people? And and it sparks a whole lot of thoughts for me, because there's you know, the obvious. Well, you always have people to tell about. There's somebody somewhere. Whether or not they actually care is a completely different story, right? Having somebody that actually cares about what's going on in your world. Uh, and it's like, different people, exist in different capacities for different reasons. But, what I started realizing today is that this practice is filling that need, that desire for me. It's the being able to share my thoughts and my ideas and all of that stuff, with someone, even if that someone is a camera that nobody is watching. I still get the feeling like I'm talking to someone, right? At some point, maybe someone's going to see this. And in that case, I'm talking to you, if anybody does see this. And that's the spot in my life that this is filling. I had someone in my life for the last, since like May, somewhere around there, sometime in May. So it's been May, June through July. So about 3 months now, We talked on a daily basis for the most part. Um, and like, she basically became my best friend. Things escalated a bit, but it was also, a long distance friendship that, kind of escalated into different directions too. And ultimately, we just got really close. And then sometime, last week, last week I got really deep into, kind of working on my stuff, and I was busy and she was busy, and then she went on vacation and she's taking care of all of her stuff and I'm taking care of all of my stuff. And I realized that, um, that like I that that's what was missing from my life is, she'd kind of become this person that I, shared my life with, not really like this is what I did today and this is what happened and this is what's going on in my world and these are my fears and my frustrations and all of that kind of stuff. The person, and I was a person that she did that with too, the 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 person that you share all your thoughts and ideas with. Some people have a therapist for that. Some people have a coach. Some people use family members. Some people have friends. Um, and I can't really do that with my family. Um, I can, or when I say my family, I mean specifically my parents. But the reason that I say that I can't do that, I could, but the reason that I won't is because they worry about me a lot, for good reason. Um, you know, got a hell of a long track record with mental illness and all of that stuff. And so there's a lot of times in my life when, you know, if things weren't going so well, it was David's on the verge of collapse, which isn't the case right now. Like I've gotten past that point where it's like things cannot be so great, and still, like, that doesn't mean that the world's going to come to an end. It doesn't mean that I'm about to hit my next episode or anything like that. But I know, I just know, and moms being how moms are, if I start to say, oh, things are, it's a little, I'm having this kind of challenging thought. Like, the first place that my mom goes to is, everything going to be okay? Do you need me to do anything for you? Like, what's wrong and all this other stuff. And it's like, I don't need you to do anything. I just need you to listen. Right. But it doesn't happen that way because moms are moms. There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but it's not the best person for that, for me at least. Um, so I digress. So I started realizing that's like what this practice, this experiment, part of what it's doing for me is it's creating a opportunity to fill a hole in my life, and the hole is not having anybody to talk to about the things that really matter to me. Um, which is important. People need that. And it's a lonely thing. One of the things that I was thinking about today is once I entered this entrepreneurial chapter of my life and I left the job that I'd been working, on Broadway in Nashville as a sound technician. One of the really cool things about that is that I was a part of a huge community, and everybody was kind of there to support each other, and we all kind of just knew what the struggle was like and all of that. Uh, and I saw people every day. I worked with, 2 to 3 bands a day, usually 3 bands a day, and you know, anywhere between 3, 4, 5 people in a band, depending on if it was an acoustic act or a full band or whatever. And so, between bar staff and musicians, I had regular interaction and had developed relationships with people that, I'd see, 20 different people on a daily basis pretty much, that I'd, built relationships with over time. And I don't have that anymore, at all. One of the things that I didn't think about, when I went into this, is how isolating it would end up being, especially in the online space. Working online, very isolating. The relationships that I have are with, my clients and the people in my network vaguely. I mean, clients not vaguely, but people in my network vaguely. It's like I know who they are, they know who I am. We don't really have conversations and stuff like that. One of the things that I, stumbled across today too, as I'm sorting through my own thoughts and all of that, is this idea that, I feel like, to the people that I serve, for some reason, I feel like I'm never doing enough. And uh, for the people that I don't, I'm a burden. And I don't know where that comes from entirely, but it's still there. And it's not always there. That's the thing with this stuff, is it's not always there. But there's certain moments in time when my attention is brought to it, that these are things that are going on. So you start to ask, why is this surfacing? Why now? Um, there's, I feel like, as an entrepreneur, you know, as an entrepreneur, the joke that I always make, and because I never exclude myself from my own jokes. I will say that straight out. Um, if you're an entrepreneur and you only have one business that you own and operate, you're not really an entrepreneur. You're just self-employed. like, and it's like that. What are the things that we tell ourselves to make us feel good about the things that we do, right? Because our reality is, I think I talked about this last time, an amalgamation of all the things that we believe to be true. Our reality is an amalgamation of our beliefs, right? What do we believe is, going on in our life? What do we believe about our reality? And if if you believe you're an entrepreneur, then you can believe you're an entrepreneur. If you have one business, that you own and operate, are you an entrepreneur or are you just self-employed? Right? When I think entrepreneur, which is why I always have so much reservation calling myself a entrepreneur, is because when I think of entrepreneur, I think of someone that starts a business, builds a business, gets it to the point where it's sustainable, and then they sell that business to someone else for a big chunk of money, and then they take that money and they go build something else. That's what I think. When I think of an entrepreneur, that's what I think about. Someone that has money that they invest into businesses that, while they may not be directly involved in, they're investing in building businesses, right? Whether it be, financially, monetarily, with time, temporal, or, even energetically, they're giving guidance, right? That's, when I think about an entrepreneur, that's what I think about. Is that what I am? Is that what I do? No, I'm not there yet. Um, the asterisk next to everything. Not there yet. I'm not doing that yet. Um, but I can call myself an entrepreneur if I want to. We can call ourselves whatever we want to call ourselves. Um, but where was I going with this? Where did this come from? Oh yeah, let me trace this back to the idea that the online business owner, the digibiz space, excuse me, can be very lonely. For someone that doesn't do well with that, it gets very difficult. So it's important to have someone that you can talk to. But when you don't have that, you end up looking at a camera and spilling your guts and ride that line of how much am I comfortable sharing, how much is too much, and just based off this one on day two, that like give it a week. I'm saying give it a week, and I'm gonna be like fucking dumping my soul into this thing. I came in a couple times today to look at the YouTube. I didn't watch the video that I posted. I posted it, put a title on it, and that was it. And there have been 0 views and 0 comments, no likes, no dislikes. So, excuse me. Basically, nobody's seen it yet, which I'm okay with. I would imagine nobody's gonna see this one, or at least not anytime soon. No one's probably going to see the one that I do tomorrow or the day after that or the day after that. And that's part of the experiment is what happens if I do this, if I commit to this practice. What happens for me? What happens with how I approach this? What happens if people discover it? You know, what happens then? Well, I don't know. I don't know if anybody's done this. If they have, I haven't heard about it. I have a hard time believing that somebody would do that, though, because in this day and age, everybody's looking for their 5 seconds of fame, right? That's what YouTube is for, right? Become YouTube famous, start a page, build an audience, monetize it, make money, get money from ads, sell affiliate products, whatever. Get famous so that I don't like become an influencer. That's what people, use YouTube for, educate people. I I thought about creating, like, I wanted to do a YouTube thing for a hot fucking minute, and I never committed to it fully. I'd start, and I always came up against this, like, block. I never really dove into it. I'd always find some way to get distracted and not follow through or whatever. I think one of the reasons is because ultimately, like, I mean, I wanted it to be about me. I mean, I wanted the recognition and the admiration and all of those things. But it's like ultimately, what does that do for a person? What does that do for me? Which on the surface, it sounds like a very selfish question. Yes. Well, what's in it for me by getting recognition and fame and all of that and validation? But under the surface, it's a little bit more, I don't know if I want to say existential, but that's the first word that's coming to mind. Like, what purpose does it serve? What, why? And not really what is the purpose, but why do I want that? Right? Why do I want recognition? Why do I want people to admire me? Why do I want, a big, huge audience with a whole bunch of subscribers and all of the people that are paying attention to every word that I say and all of that. Why do I want that? What is that going to do for me? Make me feel like I'm finally good enough, maybe, that I need, but therein lies the problem, right? I need validation from other people to feel like I'm good enough. That's problematic. No, I think it is. To require validation from others, that you're good enough, means that you don't believe it yourself. So now we come into a bit of a paradox. 20 minutes already. Because here's the thing is it's like, if I feel like I'm good enough and I don't need other people's validation, then isn't that the thing that should give me confidence to do the thing? But at the same time, that's the thing that I'm doing it for. So it's like, what? Because, I can say I want to help people. Sure. I want to, be an inspiration. Sure. I want, to be the person that other people look up to as a role model and be the lighthouse. And all of that stuff sounds great, right? Things I've said for so long. All of that stuff sounds great. I want to be this person for other people. Why? Well, because I didn't have that person to look up to and I wish I had. Okay. But why do you want to be that person? Is it really because you want to help people? Or is it because you want a pat on the back for actually getting past all of it, right? The idea that the only way, this is like basically me talking to myself at this point, that by me being that lighthouse and the guiding light and the inspiration for other people, because I'm showing up and saying, if I can do it, you can do it too. But is that really just to support and validate the fact that I actually did it? That was weird. Right after I said that, the screen flickered. Interesting. So then we tap into the other area. Is the reason that I keep coming up against a block because I feel like I haven't done it yet, that I'm still in it, and by showing up and saying, hey, look at me, I got over all of this stuff, I'm out of it now. I did it, you can do it too. But if I haven't actually done that, I just think that I have. Am I lying to myself? Self-deluding? Delusional thoughts of grandeur? Classic symptom of mania, bipolar disorder? Am I just confirming my own mental illness that I think that I've got past? This is the stuff at the core of everything. And the thing that I feel like a lot of people don't understand about this, they say, well, why do you even think about that? Just don't think about it. But I have to, right? This is the unfortunate reality, I suppose, that I have to think about this stuff. Because if I don't think about this, if I don't question this, if I don't question what's actually going on, then I run the risk of losing my grip on reality and slipping into actual self-delusion. So I have to question it. I like that's literally full circle. That's how I got to where I am today, and not dealing with symptoms, or rather, overcoming symptoms of bipolar disorder and all that stuff. Is I have to constantly question everything. Oh, and it is exhausting. I have to question everything. I have to, because historically, taking everything at face value and not questioning it is ultimately what led to mental illness destroying my life. By not taking the time to question my experience of reality, and by just immediately saying, oh, this is what I'm thinking, this is what I'm feeling, this must be true, so I'm going to run with it. Even though those feelings may have been generated from thoughts that were not accurate representations of reality, or, whatever. I have to question it. I have to question all of it, and it's exhausting. And one of the things that I question is what value do I actually bring to a relationship with someone? I don't mean that necessarily just romantically, but I don't have any close friends anymore. Or I have to put an asterisk next to that. I mean, I do. I have close friends that I've known for years and years and years and years. But I don't talk to them very often, and it's kind of this because none of them live anywhere near me, and they all have their own lives. You know, they've got girlfriends, they've got boyfriends, they've got wives and husbands or kids, and they all have their people. They all have their people. So, I who do I call? I mean, it's how do I lots of those relationships have gotten to the point where it's like they have the person in their life that they talk to about all of their deep stuff, right? Why would they want to do that with another person? I mean, that's how I see it. Like if I've got some, like, dirty laundry that I want to air out, once I air it out to someone, I don't want to air it out to like five more people. It's like, okay, cool, I got this shit off my chest, I'm good. Like, I don't want to tell you about it. um in trying to build that with someone, having that partner in crime, basically. I don't know. I So one of the other things that I thought about today is the fact that I am such an outlier. I am I'm an outlier. I am so far outside of so many different norms. Um, and that makes it hard to connect with people. Not just hard to connect with people, but it makes it hard for people to connect with me. Um, because the only people that understand outliers are other outliers, like other real outliers. Some people think that they're outliers and they're not. I know that sounds like some like hipster bullshit, and it's true. Some people say that they go against the grain, but they like, but they don't. You know, uh, they just they don't know what direction the grain is actually going. You know, the idea of somebody saying I'm so much different than everybody else because I use different words. That's not, you know, I don't know. Look, I could talk my way into circles around all of this stuff philosophizing. There's something that popped up, I'm going to wrap this up. Um, Even like right before I, came on to do this, um, I I was in my living room thinking about how kind of like disconnected I felt from people and, kind of lonely and all of that stuff. And then I opened up my phone and I went on to Facebook. And the first post that I saw, and I pulled it up here so I can read it. So on my friends list posted, excuse me. So one of my friends list posted, how long can you spend time in your own company before needing to involve someone else as a buffer? Yes, social media counts. And it hit me like a fucking ton of bricks. Because that's literally what I was doing in that moment, was pulling up social media to fill this void of loneliness and needing social interaction. And so I didn't answer that question, but I asked another question in response to it. And I said, what is a healthy amount of time someone could be expected to spend in their own company before needing to involve someone as a buffer so that solitude doesn't drag them into onset depression from lack of social interaction? Because there's this whole kind of thing of like, you have to be comfortable in your own company and all of that, which is true, which is all great and dandy and all of that. And but there comes a point where there is a tipping point where it's like you have to have social interaction. There's a reason why jails use solitary confinement as a punishment, right? Isolate you from all the people. Or maybe it's solitary confinement so people in jail don't hurt other people in jail. I don't really, oh, excuse me, I don't really know how that works because I've never been to jail or prison. But at any rate, you know, we all have a certain threshold of isolation and solitude and loneliness. And it's okay to feel lonely sometimes. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Uh, it's normal, it's human. If you feel like you're cut off from people and you feel lonely, that's normal and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not like something that you have to be sad about or that has to be depressing or anything like that. As I reflect on everything that I've said up until this point, it like the theme of this really is kind of like loneliness and isolation and, relating to people and all of that. I mean, no surprise, I'm kind of lonely right now. And while the knee jerk reaction to that is maybe, oh, I'm so, I'm sorry, that's so, sad, or like whatever, blah, 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 and it's, are you okay? Blah, blah. It's like, no, it's like, look, it happens. Like, you can be lonely without there being something wrong with you, right? I feel like, as I loop some of this back into, this whole, mental illness thing. I don't know why that's what I led with and why everything seems to be tying back with this. I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose. Look back on this and who knows. But but yeah, when I was like everything, Every, bad feeling was like, oh, there's something wrong with you. There's something wrong. What's wrong? What's wrong? What's not, this is bad. This isn't good. We need to fix this. And it's like, it's just it's a feeling, right? And you can attach to that feeling. You can identify with that feeling however you want to. I can say, "Oh, I'm lonely and this is so sad and depressing and blah blah blah. Woe is me. I don't have any friends and blah." Or I can be like, "You know what? I haven't had anyone to talk to in a little while, and I've gotten used to having someone to talk to. And so now I am feeling a little bit of isolation, but that's normal, you know? It's like within the context of present circumstance. Doesn't have to mean that I'm falling into a depression or that I'm sad or any of those things. Just means that I had someone to talk to for a while and I don't have that person anymore. And it's kind of lonely. Oh, okay. Well, this is fun. You know what just popped up to the front of my mind is my abandonment issues. Yay. I had someone in my life for a while. We got really close, and now they're not there anymore, and I feel abandoned, just like everybody else that I get close to. So, why bother getting close with people when they're just going to leave eventually anyway? Not rational at all. I know this. But yeah, so if I reflect on everything that I've said over the course of the last, how much time has gone by? 36 minutes now. Wow. As I reflect on everything that I've said, what's popping up? Well, I guess my abandonment issues have been triggered. So there's that. So now I have to do work with that, I guess. Now I have to do work with that. I don't have to, but I probably should. It'd be a good idea. So I'm not gonna drag anybody else through this. 37 minutes. It is 11:26 p.m. Central Time, July 27th, 2021. This was episode 2 of the Experiment, and I will see you next time.